Hello everyone, Tina here for Papertrey Ink. I hope you're having a fabulous day. Thank you so much for joining me. Well, we're going to make a Get Well card today. We're using the fabulous Get Well Soon stamp set. We do have the coordinating dies, and I'm also going to be bringing in a hot foil plate. This is the perfectly coiled rectangle, and I love the swirlies in here. It's just a playful look, and usually when I make Get Well cards, I do like playful Get Well cards because it makes the recipient smile. You can kind of bring a little bit of sunshine to a dreary day when you add playfulness. So we'll be using this on our card. We're going to jump right in, and I have my hot foil machine heating off to the side. I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to go ahead and put my perfectly coiled rectangle, and then I'm going to start my timer right away. I'm going to bring in some bright cheery colors, and I want some pink foil in my background. The foil that I'm using today is rose gold. I'm going to trim down a piece, and then we can foil a background on white cardstock. So we'll go ahead and add our cardstock, and then we'll add our plates, and we'll wait for the timer to go off. While this is heating up, I wanted to share with you the crutches that I made, and then the little cast. I mean, how cute is that? I think this set is super fun. Today we're going to make a tissue box and also add some florals and band-aids with that. My light stopped blinking, so that tells me it's ready to run through my die cut machine. I'll do that and I'll be right back. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look. And it foiled beautifully. There are some areas where there was over foiling. I'm going to turn this off and put this to the side. But I'm going to use a sand eraser, and we will remove that excess foil. I have a sand eraser that I'm just going to go over those coil centers and remove that excess foiling. Sand erasers are magic when it comes to excess foiling. Now I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm going to create a scalloped border around this coiled rectangle. This is easy to do, and I'm not being very precise about it, just keeping it a little bit wonky. I'm just adding a scallop border around the edge, and this will do two things. If my coiled rectangle was not centered on my card base, this is going to fix that, and it also adds to the playfulness. So there's my background. We're going to put this to the side, and now we're going to work on our stamping next. Okay, we're going to stamp some florals. I have my inks here. In our die set, we have this tissue box. I'm actually going to die cut this out with white cardstock, but I wanted to share with you the floral pattern on here. There's debossed detail on this tissue box top. I'm kind of going to use the images in our stamp set to emulate this. So to do that, we're going to first stamp this leaf here. This is so small, I'm going to bring in an acrylic block to do that. We're going to use spring moss ink. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp 4 of these. Maybe 5 for good measure. And then we have this flower here. This flower I'm going to stamp with pure poppy ink. We'll go ahead and ink this up. I'm going to stamp 2 of these. So I'll stamp here, and then I'll flip my panel around, and I'll stamp once more. And then there is a second layer to this that we're going to stamp with our green ink, and I'll bring back my spring moss, and we'll ink this up and do the second part of this flower, and then I'll flip it around, and I'll stamp this here. And that flower is good to go. I'm going to stamp this here in this corner. For this flower, I'm going to use my Hawaiian Shores. We'll ink this up here. And we'll stamp this. And then I'll flip my panel around and we'll stamp it once more. Okay, and then there's a second part to 3A. We're going to add 3B, which is the base of the flower. For that, I'm going to use an acrylic block because it's so small and it's just easier for me. In our stamp set, we have this real pretty flower. I'm going to stamp this one. We're actually going to stamp both of these. Now my flowers are all done. We're going to put this to the side, and I'm going to bring in another piece of cardstock. This time we're going to stamp the Band-Aid. I'll just put this in here. We'll stamp the Band-Aid with Hawaiian Shores. Lovely. One Band-Aid. I'm going to wipe this off. And then I'm going to scoot it over. And then we'll stamp our next Band-Aid. I'm going to use my Berry Sorbet ink. And we'll stamp this one more time. And then I'm going to do one more Band-Aid. At this time we're going to use Pure Poppy ink. Lots of bright colors for this Get Well card. We'll go ahead and stamp this. Okay. Now while we're stamping, I'm also going to take Get Well Soon. And I'm going to stamp this with my black ink right up here. I'm going to use my True Black ink, and we'll go ahead and ink this up. Give it a good press. And that will be our greeting. This actually fits in the balloon that's in our stamp set, but I think it's going to work great for our card stay. That's all the stamping that we're going to do. So I'm going to take my flowers and my Band-Aids. We're going to take the coordinating die set, and we're going to start cutting out all of our flowers. Once I have everything die cut out, we're going to do a little ink blending on our tissue box that I die cut out with white cardstock. You can see the debossed area. The debossed detail in here is just so pretty. Okay, I'm going to bring in my Summer Sunrise ink, and I'll use my blending tool, and we're just going to lightly go over the edges of our tissue box. For the most part, it's going to be covered, but I do like to get these corners. So we have some white areas and some yellow areas. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and layer. In our die set, there's a tissue that you can cut out with white cardstock, but I'm actually going to use real tissue. I just have a piece of tissue here, and there's perforated edges, so I'm going to remove those. You could use paper towel, you could use tissue paper, you could use a napkin. Anything that you have around would work great. We can actually put this into a square, more in a square shape. And then what I like to do is just put my finger in the middle and kind of do a little pinch and pull up the sides, just so it looks like maybe a hanky. And then I'm going to stuff my tissue box like this. So we have real tissue coming out of it. I'm going to use my low tack tape and secure this to the back here. Or you could use Scotch tape if you want. My low tack tape is going to work perfect. But then if I have anything overhanging off one end, I'm just going to trim it away. And then there is my tissue box. So cute. Now for my tissue box, we are going to decorate this corner with a debossed area. So let's start with these flowers, but I do want to mention to them, so I'm going to add some small foam squares. These flowers are a little bit bigger than the flowers that are on here, so I'm going to overlap them just a little bit. For my leaves, I'm just going to do a little tucking with them using just a few dots of glue. And then we have a fun flower bouquet at the very bottom of our tissue box. And I did block off my greeting here. Okay, we are going to arrange this on our scalloped background here. I'm going to flip this over. We're going to put foam tape behind here. And I'm going to add this across the bottom here. I'm going to take my tissue box and I'm going to add it across the bottom here. And then we can add a couple of band-aids, kind of crisscrossing them. And we'll do a little tucking with these. We're going to do a little tucking with our Get Well. Once we have this done, we're going to add this to our card base. I took a piece of my Papertrey ink berry sorbet cardstock. This is an A2 panel, so it's 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. I just placed it on the top of my A2 card base. Just tack this right in the center. And then I'm going to add a little bit of sparkle. I'm going to be using my diamond stickles. I'm going to add some to the flowers. I'm also going to add a few little dots to our band-aids. And that will finish off my card today for Papertrey ink. Fun little get well soon card with the tissue box and some florals and some band-aids. I hope you enjoyed my project. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.